Hello and welcome back to another edition of AEW Out of 10 right here on the Wrestle Debate. Today is Tag Team Appreciation Night, hosted by FTR, and we've also got two title matches, the Tag Team titles and the TNT title on the line. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. So the show started with the Young Bucks v Evil Uno and Stu Grayson. Before the match began, the Young Bucks got assaulted by members of the Dark Order. Matt Jackson dealt with the others while Nick Jackson faced Grayson and Uno in the ring. Uno and Grayson isolated Nick into the corner early. He eventually managed to tag out with Jackson coming in flying, taking the fight to both of them. He was soon cut off by Grayson and Uno, who took back control of the match, however, and he found himself isolated before Nick eventually came in strong but was once again cut off. You can kind of see the theme of this match. But anyway, the finish came when Nick Jackson managed to reverse a fatality and rolled up Evil Uno for the pin. This was actually a good match to start off the show, so I'm going to give it 6.75 out of 10. MJF came out next for his next speech. He started off with stats showing polling numbers showed him at plus 500% and Moxley at minus 1000%. He then insinuated that Moxley didn't really care about the fans and all he cared about was himself. He said he wants to make Jon Moxley feel comfortable by lying down for him. He added that Jon is not a leader and that he was. MJF then compared Jon Moxley to a dog chasing a car. Before Moxley's music hit, he sent Wardlow and all of his other cronies out to try and stop him. However, Moxley came out from the entrance ramp and blindsided him and hit him with a paradigm shift. 7 out of 10. MJF is the best, and I liked the whole surprise element with Moxley. Next up, Cody came to the win for his TNT title match. Scorpio Sky had the better of the opening exchange, dumping Cody out of the ring. Cody went back in and gave back as good as he got. This time it was Scorpio Sky who tossed out to ringside. Back in the ring, Scorpio drove his knees into Cody in the corner before Cody replied with a power slam. Cody had a submission locked in, however Sky broke out and wrestled control of the match after he had the break. He sent Cody rib first into the ring post and followed up a little later with a cutter on the entrance ramp. Cody replied with a superplex from the top rope, but Scorpio Sky had the inside cage all for a near fall. Then Sky went for another cutter, but Cody blocked it and followed it up with a second crossroads to retain the TNT title. I'm going to give this a 6.75 out of 10. Quality match, and I definitely want to see more of Scorpio Sky. Next up, it was a tag team title match between Omega and Page and the Jurassic Express, who started off the match really strong, taking the fight to Omega. Jungle Boy was impressive early on, especially as he planted Omega face first into the match. Just when Omega looked like he really needed to make a tag, Page tagged him. Page started off with a sliding clothesline to Jungle Boy and looked to be in fantastic touch. The two of them then traded tags before Luchasaurus finally got the tag in, but not for long. Kenny Omega caught Luchasaurus with a V-trigger, then a Snapdragon. Omega then went to hit Jungle Boy with a Snapdragon, but he was sent out of the ring with an arm drag. Omega hit Marco Stunt with a Snapdragon instead. Omega and Page finally finished the match off then, after hitting Jungle Boy with the last call for the win. This was a really good match. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Definitely exceeded my expectations. Next up, it was specials appearances by the Rock and Roll Express on Dynamite. The Rock and Roll Express put the Young Bucks over as the best in the world, while Arn put over the FTR. Tully Blanchard, however, said that to be the best, they needed to have the gold. Arn and Tully got into a scuffle, and after this, Tully left the ring. With everyone distracted, FTR attacked Robert Gibson and Ricky Morton, taking out Morton with a spike pile driver to turn heel. This was excellent. No one saw this coming, and it just gets us that little bit closer to a Young Bucks FTR match. 7.5 out of 10. Best segment on the show. Next up, Hikari Cheetah versus Heather Monroe from the independent scene. She's good, actually. Heather Monroe blindsided Cheetah before the match while she was still in the process of entering the ring, catching her with a boot to the head. The AEW Women's Champion soon took back control of the match, but Monroe showed good fight. But it didn't last very long though. Cheetah soon made Monroe tap out to add another win. 5 out of 10. I'm going to be honest, this isn't good enough for AEW. Everything about that company is so great except for the women's division, and something has to change, starting off with a banger at All Out, hopefully. And then it was the £7,000 obligation match between Jericho and Cassidy. Cassidy started the match at tremendous pace. It was all orange early on. However, the wily veteran Jericho took back control of the match, hitting Cassidy with a forearm on the apron before following it up with a springboard dropkick. Jericho continued pounding Cassidy after the egg break. Cassidy wasn't down for long. He hit back with a strike from the top rope, followed by a dragon screw. Jericho then locked out the Lion Tamer out of nowhere, and Cassidy tried to reach the ropes, but he had to change tactics and applied a small package for the 2 count. Jericho then went to grab Floyd, but referee Mike Chioda, of course making his debut, stopped him. Cassidy then replied with a Superman punch to Jericho, and both men went down. Proud and Powerful tried to interfere, but they were stopped by Best Friends. With the referee distracted, Hager ran into the ring and slammed Cassidy with a spine buster. Jericho went for the pin, but he kicked out. The finish saw Cassidy pin Jericho in a mousetrap combination for the win. Now, this may be controversial, but I'm only going to give this a 6.5 out of 10. I won't lie, I expected more. I thought the finish was a bit crap. The match was okay, but to be honest, I expected more. So I'm only going to give it a 6.5 out of 10, but don't get me wrong, it was still good. Overall, this week, AEW Dynamite is getting a 6.75 out of 10. I really enjoyed everything on this show, especially the FTR heel turn, except for the women's segment, and as I said, the main event disappointed me slightly, but it wasn't bad by any stretch of the imagination. So overall, a pretty good show by AEW. But anyway guys, that is it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Let me know what you thought about AEW Dynamite and this video in the comments below. Remember to subscribe to my other channels on the screen right now, that'd be greatly appreciated. And follow me on Twitter for daily wrestling news, link in the description below. Thanks very much for watching. Peace!